We have a brand new guaranteed void event coming to Raid Shadow Legends tomorrow, guys, and it seems like that's what Plarium was actually planning. If you guys had a chance to watch my previous video that I released like an hour ago, where we kind of like went over all of the events coming to Raid Shadow Legends, I mentioned that I'm super surprised that we don't have a 15x starting tomorrow, and I was wondering, what are they planning? Why don't we have a 15x event? Because every single week we have one on Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, it seems clear that they were planning a new guaranteed event. Welcome to the channel, everyone. I'm Skratch, and this time around we're gonna have a guaranteed void event for Epic Champions. This Tuesday, August 6th, we're planning to launch a guaranteed event. Summon champion using void shards while the event is active, and you are guaranteed to get Inquisitor Shamael by your 30th void shard. So guys, some of you will be extremely happy, some of you guys will be disappointed, some of you guys will be like, yeah, whatever, who cares about it, right? Now let me just quickly walk you through what a champion can do. Then I'm gonna talk about his builds, how you should use him, and I'm gonna basically walk you through what is the main strategy for the Hydra clan boss with Inquisitor Shamael. A lot of you guys already own the champion. A lot of you guys will be very happy to finally be able to put your hand on the champion, but there is a little problem right here. You don't have any shards because you already opened them, not this weekend, the week before during the 2x on Void. So 30 Void shards for Inquisitor Shamael, I do think is a decent price, yes. To get a guaranteed Void on the Mercy, a guaranteed Epic, sorry, not just Void, I think it's 20 plus shards for Ancients, for Voids as well. I feel like 20 to 25, something like that, or the Mercy kicks in after 20, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of the times it happens where you're just getting rares back to back. So having a chance to get an actual decent epic champion, a strong epic champion, especially for the Hydra clan boss, is definitely not a bad idea. Now, if you have the shards. So his base stats are not insane. His base attack is actually pretty low, but the HP and defense are actually pretty good. With A1, attacks one enemy, has a chance to decrease the duration of a random buff. Every time an enemy places a debuff on an ally, uses this skill against the enemy to counterattack. I freaking hate Inquisitor Shamael because of this, okay? He doesn't do a lot of damage with his counterattack, and his animations are so freaking slow that I can literally, I don't know, go to Spain and come back to the UK by the time he finishes the whole thing. I'm exaggerating a bit, but he's definitely super slow with animations. Now, this skill right here pumps in a lot of damage. He can actually ignore 100% of the target's defense, and you don't even need to have a Savage set on him. That's why we're going to talk about builds and stuff. So the whole idea with this skill, guys, if you have 3 or more buffs, you're going to ignore 25% of the target's defense for each buff on your champion, on top of the 25% defense that he already ignores. So you're easily going to ignore 100% of the defense. Plus, you are going to place a True Fear on all enemies for 1 turn if you kill an enemy. This will be good for PvE content, wave control, etc. Or even for Arena if you are using him and you have a bit of accuracy. It used to be a strategy before, like, I don't know, a year ago or so, where he used to be super OP for Arena. Or maybe 2 years ago. I kind of like lost track of time because he hit so freaking hard, you know? So definitely not a bad champion. Now, mainly why he is so powerful, and this can work very good in the Dark Fae, it can work very good in the Hydra clan boss, and against other enemies that are inflicting fear or true fear on your team. Each critical hit fills this champion's turn meter by 7.5%. Whenever an ally receives a fear or a true fear debuff from an enemy, this skill will instantly remove the debuff and fill the team's leader's turn meter by 15%. So that's why a lot of the times when you are running Inquisitor Shamael in the Hydra clan boss, a lot of people are wondering, why are you not getting fear? Why is it happening? It's basically this passive that makes the magic. Super curious to see his reviews. So 4.9 in the Hydra clan boss, 4.8 in faction wars, 4.7 in arena offense. Definitely not bad. He can pump in a lot of damage too. And he increases the accuracy in Doom Tower battles by 60, which is pretty irrelevant for most of the content. But that's what this champion can actually do, guys. Now, how are we building him in 2024? How are we getting maximum value out of Inquisitor Shamael? So let me just quickly show you what build I have on mine. assuming that I have him build, I should be able to have a build on a one of mine, if I'm not mistaken. I do have multiple copies. So this one right here is a good example. It doesn't have the best stats or anything like that. This used to be for a strategy with Warlord versus Taras. When Taras is basically putting fear on champions from that specific faction. It's not just Warlord. You have Undead, you have multiple factions. Basically, he will remove it and boost the thermometer of your lead champion. So I was able to cut in with my Warlord as an example versus champions that have 400 plus speed because of the thermometer that I was gaining from Inquisitor Shamael. And that used to be a very solid strategy for Arena that I've made when Taras kind of like got released. I've done quite a few different videos. Even now you can use it like this if you want to, but not for Platinum Arena. Definitely in lower tiers. So this used to be a build for that. Super slow with a stone skin. Like this, I used to basically kill Marichka with A2. I used to kill her even if a UDK was in the team. One hit goes to UDK, 2 hits to Marichka or to Sifi or to whatever else they were using, and bang, putting them to sleep like that. But I do want to talk about the build that is mainly for PvE. So you have a lot of options. You do not need Savage. That's the good thing. So he actually delivers a lot of damage without Savage. So it should be good news for the majority of you guys that are still early mid-game struggling to build champions on Savage gear. Now, when we are talking about actual sets, guys, okay? I have him built right now on a lifesteal and a retaliation set. Of course, you still want to prioritize 100% crit rate, as much crit damage as possible. Speed-wise, he is gaining thermometer for every crit hit, so you don't necessarily need to make him extremely fast. Giving him 200 plus speed is definitely a good place to start from. Now, in terms of sets, so you can build him on lifesteal if you want to. So like this, he basically sustains, he stays alive. You can build him on triple crit damage set. You can build him if you want on a different sets like regeneration, on a damage build, you know. He's still going to do the same amount of damage, and like this, he's going to sustain himself again. You can build him if you like in Relentless. Very, very good build for him as well. You can build him in Toxic and apply a few different debuffs here and there. Put some poisons. You can build him on Retaliation. You can build him on Avenging if you want to. You can build him on Reflex and use the A2 more often. You can build him on Cruel sets just to gain extra attack and ignore more defense with a basic skill. You can build him on Divine Offense, on Divine Critical Rate, or you can build him on a regular Critical Rate set. Fatal set will work pretty nice on him. You're getting attack, you're getting a crit rate. Honestly, you have so many different options. Kill Stroke. You can build him on Savage Instinct if you want, so you ignore more defense with a basic skill. That's not a problem whatsoever. You can run, of course, a few mixture of sets like Merciless, Slayer, and some other adds-on broken sets. It doesn't matter. Now, what you are aiming for in terms of stats, guys, have a bit of survivability, have as much attack as possible, have as much crit rate and crit damage as possible. Of course, crit rate up to the cap of 100%. And you don't need accuracy, you don't need resistance. Some survivability on him will definitely be pretty good. Now, in terms of blessings, you do have a couple of different options. I chose to go with Phantom Touch. This will actually bring in a lot of damage for the A3. The Phantom Touch damage is based on the attack, the damage that he deals. So when you use the A3 and you hit for 300k, that will actually benefit you quite a bit. If no, you can go with a different blessing, and that's Haven Cast. Not only that his A2 will require buffs to ignore defense, but if you have this blessing, you're basically going to deal more damage like that. In terms of masteries, I do have Helm Smasher over Giant Slayer or over War Master or even over Flawless Execution, and that is mainly because I want the A1 to deal as much damage as possible too, and this ignoring a bit of an additional defense is definitely not a bad idea. Now, there is one thing with him: when he counterattacks with a basic skill, guys, he will actually have a chance to trigger Giant Slayer, which normally only happens on champions that have multi-hit skills, but for Inquisitor Shamael, Giant Slayer is a thing actually, you know, so keep that in mind. Unfortunately, right now I don't have the Head of Torment in this rotation, guys. It might take me a lot of tries to actually get the Head of Torment in, but probably you've seen it in many different videos how he interacts with the Head of Torment. What I would suggest you is always to use a champion in the lead that is a big threat or a big support or a turn meter booster or increase attack, decrease attack, defense down, weaken, decrease speed, increase speed, because that leader is constantly going to get the turn meter and that will benefit your champions a lot. What I used to do when I used to run Inquisitor Shaman in my teams, I used to have Geomancer in the lead. Like this, I used to be able to put the HP burn on 3 heads simultaneously without actually losing it from a different one. So Geomancer was gaining a lot of damage like that. Plus, you used to have an HP aura from him, so it's definitely a pretty solid option to consider. As mentioned, I personally dislike using Inquisitor Shamael in any of my Hydra teams. I try to use him every now and then when I'm doing budget teams because he is the best option to deal with the fear, but in general I don't like to use him because of his slow animations. But I know a lot of you guys are gaining massive value from this champion, so I do think it's worth going for him if you have the shards. That was all for the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As usual, appreciate all of you guys watching. Much love, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.